We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello, good morning friends. I Silpa Kaila from Eli College Morbi. Today I discuss the output equation of a DC machine. The output of a machine, any rotating machine like induction machine, synchronous machine or DC machine can be expressed in terms of its main dimensions, specific electric loading, specific magnetic loading and speed. So, the equation which is describes the relationship between the output, output power, specific loadings, main dimensions and speed is known as the output equation. I repeat again, the equation which is describes the relationship between output power, specific electric loading, specific magnetic loading, main dimensions and speed is known as the output equation. So, to derive the output equation of a DC machine, we use the following symbols. D equal to armature diameter in meter. L is equal to stator core length in meter. Small n equal to speed in revolution per second. If speed given in the revolution per minute, then divide by 60 to convert into revolution per second. Ns equal to synchronous speed in revolution per second. Small p equal to number of poles. Small a equal to number of parallel paths. Z is equal to total number of armature conductors. Iz is equal to current in each conductor in amperes. Ia is equal to armature current in ampere. Capital P is equal to rating of machines in kilowatt and PA is equal to power developed by armature in kilowatt. E is equal to generated EMF for the generator and back EMF for the motor expressed in the volt. So, power developed by armature in kilowatt PA is equal to generated EMF multiplied by armature current multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Here we use the 10 raised to minus 3 because of on left hand side power developed by armature in kilowatt and right hand side generated EMF in volt and armature current in ampere. So we use the 10 raised to minus 3. So PA is equal to E into IA into 10 raised to minus 3. Now we know that generated EMF E for the generator and back EMF E for the motor equal to pi Z and P divided by A. Here speed of machine in revolution per second. If speed of machine in revolution per minute, then equation is pi Z and P by 60A, where pi is equal to flux per pole. Put the value of E in above equation. So, power developed by armature PA equal to pi Z and P divided by A into IA into 10 raised to minus 3. Now we rearrange the terms, combine the number of pole P and flux phi. Also combine the armature current IA divided by the parallel path in the armature A and conductor. So equations becomes in the bracket P5 multiplied by the in the bracket IA by A into Z, then multiplied by speed n into 10 raised to minus 3. We know that current passing through the conductor Iz is equal to total armature current divided by the number of parallel paths. So Iz is equal to Ia by A. Put the Iz instead of Ia by A in equation. So equation becomes P5 multiplied by IZZ multiplied by N multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Give the equation number 1. Now, P5 is nothing but a total magnetic loading and IZZ is total electric loading. So, power developed by the armature equal to total magnetic loading multiplied by total electric loading multiplied by speed multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Total loading is described. Total magnetic loading is the total flux around the armature periphery at the air gap. I repeat again, total magnetic loading is the total flux around the armature periphery at the air gap. And total electric loading is the total number of ampere conductor around the armature periphery at the air gap. I repeat again, total electric loading is the total number of ampere conductor around the armature periphery at air gap. Now, we use the iron and copper are the active material in machines and utilization of this material is determined by the specific loading. So, in the equation, we can use the specific loading instead of the total magnetic loading and total electric loading. First, we describe the specific loading. Specific magnetic loading is the average flux density over the air gap of a machine. I repeat again, specific magnetic loading is the average flux density over the air gap of a machine. So, specific magnetic loading described by VAV. V for flux density and AV for average. So, VAV, V average is equal to total flux around the air gap divided by area of flux path at the air gap is equal to P5 by pi dl. Now, specific electric loading is the number of armature ampere conductor per meter of armature periphery at the air gap. I repeat again, specific electric loading is the number of armature ampere conductor per meter of armature periphery at the air gap, which is represented by small ac. Specific electric loading small ac equal to total armature ampere conductor per divided by armature periphery at air gap, which is equal to IZZ by pi d. So, we put the B average is equal to P5 by pi dl. So, total magnetic loading P5 is equal to pi multiplied by D armature diameter multiplied by L axial length of core multiplied by B average specific magnetic loading. Give the equation number 2. Now, AC is equal to IZZ by pi d. Therefore, IZZ total electric loading is equal to pi multiplied by D armature diameter multiplied by specific electric loading AC. Give the equation number 3. Now, substitute the equation 2 and equation 3 in equation 1. So, power developed by the armature PA is equal to in the bracket pi into D into L into BAV multiplied by in the bracket pi into D into AC into N into 10 raised to minus 3. Now we rearrange the term and combine the constant term. So pi square B average AC into 10 raised to minus 3 is the constant. So we combine that. So PA is equal to in the bracket pi square BAV AC into 10 raised to minus 3 D square L N, where pi square B average AC into 10 raised to minus 3 is known as the output coefficient of machines and which is denoted by C0. So output equation PA is equal to C0 D square L N. Here, power developed by armature is directly proportional to the output coefficient C0, and output coefficient is directly proportional to the specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading. If we select the higher value of specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading, then power developed by the armature is also high. Also, PA is directly proportional to the dimensions of the machine. D armature diameter and L axial length of the core. So PA is directly proportional to the D square L. Increase the size of machine, then output power is also increased. Similarly, PA is also directly proportional to the speed and increase the speed, power developed by the armature is also increased. So PA is equal to C0 D square L N is the output equation of a DC machine, which is the required equation. From output equation, we can say that consider the two machines with same dimensions. One machine is rotate on 1000 rpm and other machine is rotate on 2000 rpm. Definitely 2000 rpm machine power developed is higher than the 1000 rpm machine. Or in second things, if two machines rotate on same speed, but dimensions of the one machine is large and second machine is small, so large dimensions machine develop the large output power. And also, for the same output power, increase the speed of machine or increase the specific loading, then reduce the size of machine. Reduce the D square L. So, we choose the value of specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading is very important. We choose the value, then improve the performance of the machine. Specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading is very important parameter. If we select the higher value of specific electric loading and magnetic loading, then many advantages like reduce the size and volume of the machine, and also reduce the weight of machine, and also reduce the cost of machine. So we select the as possible as highest value of specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading to reduce the size of machine and also the cost of machine. But higher value of specific loading is also limited because of if we select the higher value of specific magnetic loading, then definitely saturation is take place in iron part. So many disadvantages to select the higher specific loading. First, we describe the disadvantages of higher specific electric loading. First, armature copper loss is increased, then also poor commutations and also increase the field copper loss, and overall temperature of machine is increased and decrease the efficiency. Disadvantages of higher specific magnetic loadings are increase the iron losses, increase the field copper losses, increase the no load current, increase the tooth flux density, also increase the noise and increase the possibility to take the saturation in the iron parts. So we select the specific loading such that no saturation is take place in any iron part. Some suggested value for the specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading. Generally, the gap flux density of around 0.45 to 0.5 Tesla is recommended for DC machines up to 10 kilowatt. 0.5 to 0.9 Tesla is recommended for DC machine up to 500 kilowatt. 0.9 to 1 Tesla for DC machines beyond 500 kilowatt and up to 10,000 kilowatt. Then specific electric loading range is approximately 12,000 to 15,000 ampere conductor per meter is recommended for machines up to 5 kilowatt. For medium range, recommended range is 17,000 to 36,000 ampere conductor per meter. And for range beyond 500 kilowatt, specific electric loading could be in the range of 38,000 to 50,000 ampere conductor per meter. This is suggested range to select the appropriate value of specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading. In output equations, sometimes the value of maximum gap density is given instead of the average gap density. So, we calculate the average flux density from the maximum flux density. The relation between Bg and B average is found out by using the field form factor or ratio of pole arc to pole pitch. The maximum flux density Bg equal to average flux density divided by field form factor. I repeat again, the maximum flux density Bg equal to average flux density dAV divided by field form factor Ka. And also maximum flux density Bg equal to average flux density B average divided by ratio of pole arc to pole pitch. I repeat again, maximum flux density Bg equal to average flux density dAV divided by ratio of pole arc to pole pitch. The output equation is used to find out the main dimensions of a DC machine. The main dimensions of a DC machine means D armature diameter and L axial length of core. C0 is found out by selecting the appropriate value of specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading. Then D square L is equal to PA divided by C0 N. Then separate out the terms D and L from combined product of D square L. For that, we use the different criteria like ratio of pole arc to pole pitch and also peripheral speed VA. Peripheral speed VA is equal to pi d n meter per second. We use any one criteria to separate out the D and L from D square L product. Now, PA, power developed by the armature, and P, rated power of the machine, both are different. We cannot confuse between them. These two are different. And also P is different for generator and motor action. Let's one example. Consider a DC shunt machine working as a generator. Now we consider a DC shunt machine working as a generator. The prime mover must supply the friction, windage and iron losses, and which is take place only when the machine is rotated. Again, I repeat again, prime mover must supply the friction, windage and iron losses, and these losses are take place when machine is rotated. The armature supplies its one copper losses and also the field copper loss. So, power developed by the armature for a generator PA is equal to output power plus armature I square R loss plus field I square R loss. So, PA is equal to P plus armature copper loss plus field copper loss. Then equation is given in the form of input power. So, PA is equal to input power minus friction, windage and iron loss. Input power is nothing but the output power divided by efficiency. So equation becomes PA is equal to P by efficiency minus friction, windage and iron loss. Same machines working as a motor. It's same machine working as a motor. Then I square loss are taken from the supply and the friction, windage and iron losses are supplied by the armature. So for the motor, power developed by armature PA is equal to P plus friction, windage and iron losses. This is the difference. For the generator, PA is equal to P by efficiency minus friction, windage and iron losses. And for the motor, PA is equal to P plus friction, windage and iron losses. For the large machine, friction, windage and iron losses are very small. So for easy calculation, we can neglect them. If we neglect the friction, windage and iron loss, then relation between the power developed by the armature PA and rated power is follows. PA is equal to P by efficiency for the generators and PA is equal to P for motors. But for the small machines, friction, windage and iron losses are comparatively very large. So we cannot neglect them. Let's output power is equal to the P and input power is equal to output power divided by efficiency. So total losses is equal to input power minus output power equal to P by efficiency minus P. Let P is common. So total loss is equal to P in the bracket 1 minus efficiency divided by efficiency. And friction, windage and iron losses of a small motor may be taken as a 1/3 of the total losses. So friction, windage and iron losses is equal to 1 by 3 multiplied by P multiplied by in the bracket 1 minus efficiency divided by efficiency. Let first case of a motor. For motor, power developed by the armature PA is equal to P plus friction, windage and iron losses. Put the value of friction, windage and iron loss in the equation. So, PA is equal to P plus 1 by 3 P 1 minus efficiency upon efficiency. Now simplify the equation, we get power developed by the armature PA equal to in the bracket 1 plus 2 efficiency divided by 3 efficiency into the P. Similarly, for a small generator, power developed by armature PA equal to P by efficiency minus friction, windage and iron loss. So, PA is equal to P by efficiency minus 1 by 3 in the bracket 1 minus efficiency divided by efficiency into the P. Now simplify the equation, we get output power developed by the armature PA equal to in the bracket 2 plus efficiency divided by 3 efficiency into the P. So we derive the relation between the power developed by the armature and the output power of a machine. We sum up that for the large machine, power developed by armature PA is equal to P by efficiency for generators and PA is equal to P for motors. In the small machine, consider the friction, windage and iron losses. For a small motor, PA is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus 2 efficiency divided by 3 efficiency. And for small generator, PA is equal to P multiplied by in the bracket 2 plus efficiency divided by 3 efficiency. So we must calculate the PA from P because of in the example we have the rated power P. So first we calculate the PA from the P and then calculate the output equation and find out the main dimensions of a machine. So in this video, I explain the output equation of a DC machine, relations between the power developed by armature PA and output power of a machine P, and also describe the advantages and disadvantages of selection of higher value of specific electric loading and specific magnetic loading. I hope you are like my video and this is useful for your study. Thank you.